BTB listeners, thank you so much for checking out today's episode. Listen, if this episode inspires you, do me a favor and take 5 seconds to shoot me a like and subscribe to the podcast. There are several more exciting guests that are in the pipeline, and I just can't thank you enough for your continued support, and let's keep paying the mission forward. Let's get into it. Episode 24 of the BTB Project. In today's BTB short, we are going to be discussing risk. Each and every day, we all have situations of which we are looking to take a risk or to take a step back to do what's best for our lives. Risk-taking can be an intimidating, daunting task, but it's an essential ingredient for personal growth and achieving our dreams. You'll be inspired by this episode, and you will have 10 strategies and tips to help take risk in your life to achieve the best life possible, to go after your dreams, and to accomplish anything. Let's get into it.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby.
Welcome to the BTB Project, designed to empower listeners to identify their why and to live their best lives no matter the circumstances. My name is Coleman Gerhardt, a former athlete and motivational coach. I've had the opportunity to inspire thousands through my story and help accomplish what they are built to be. You'll be encouraged by each and every episode, and let's get into it.
Yeah, when I blow up, I'ma soar high like Peter Pan. In real life, be living out my dreams. If I'm waking up, it's in a foreign land.
We all remember those moments growing up as kids where you just seemed to be more fearless than later years in your life. And I just remember the day that I decided to take my brand new tricycle and take it all the way to the top of the hill of which we lived on. We had a really long driveway that was just a ton of fun to ride that bike down. And for the first time, I wanted to not only ride it down that hill, but all the way down as fast as I could and lift my feet in the air and just have that big smile on my face. And I was able to take that risk. It was something that came easy to me because I didn't have a worry in the world. The funny part about that is when I got my bike up to that hill and I started going down, I could feel the breeze in my face, my hair flowing back, and all of a sudden I get to the bottom and I hit the wooden surround of a planter box and my bike flipped over. And I land straight on my head and I crack open the back of my head. Although that injury wasn't fun, it makes me reflect a lot about risk taking and our tolerance to take risk depending on situations in life. And in today's episode, we're going to dive into really kind of the real world circumstances that we face where risk is a choice we are making each and every day, trying to understand what our risk tolerance is in relation to a decision we're trying to make, a commitment we're trying to follow through on, whatever it may be. Risk surrounds us, and it can be scary. It can be daunting with some of the decisions that we make because it's a whole lot different of a situation when you're just a kid riding a tricycle down a hill to in your adult life to where maybe, you have more responsibility with either a family or a job or, running your own business. There's so many different variables that can kind of make risk-taking seem to be something more than really what it should be. And we're just going to walk through these 10 tips and or topics around risk taking to see if we can tap into making these sometimes seemingly large gigantic risk to where we're able to mitigate it by having process and understanding about how to approach each and every one of these situations. And that's kind of the first segue that I want to lead into, is being able just to start by taking small daily risk. I have done this a few times in my life where a small daily risk that I'll take is driving to the grocery store in a different direction. Instead of going out of my neighborhood, going left, maybe I'll go right just to change routine. And sometimes I just think that when it comes to taking risk, we get caught up in the fear of making big changes or taking significant leaps. And I see this a lot with goal setting too. Sometimes is we set these big lofty goals, which I absolutely love, but we're thinking so much about that end result and how daunting it is to get there that we don't take the steps back and create kind of that step-by-step process approach that gets us to that situation or circumstance to allow us to take a risk to go after that goal. But by starting small, we can really build momentum. And momentum is so key in today's day and age. And we just gradually expand our comfort zones. It also can be something as simple as trying a new activity, initiating a conversation with a stranger, challenging yourself to learn a new skill. Remember, each small risk you take, it's a step forward on your journey of discovery and success. A lot of times when I'm talking to folks about goal setting or helping them athletically, nutritionally, or as a motivational coach, it's just about taking little steps. And those little steps are key to getting momentum, to getting the ball rolling, to mitigating that risk, to taking action. The next piece, and it's another powerful tool to cultivate your courage to take a risk, is to talk about what you want. A lot of times people internalize what they want because they're afraid that they're not good enough to have it, or don't have the skills required to achieve it, whatever it may be. But when you start verbalizing your dreams and aspirations, not only does it help you clarify your goals, but it also invites support and encouragement from others. I talk about this a lot on previous podcasts, is we are so much better as human beings when we are doing things in community, when we're coming out of self-isolation, when we're developing advocacy of a support mechanism to help us and to encourage us to do things that we can never do on our own. So find those trusted friends, might be even family members. And it's especially coming from mentors who can provide guidance and hold you accountable. Self-critique and being able to have self-assessment from your peers, from your mentors, is critical. And by expressing your desires, you give yourself permission to pursue what you're going after and to take that risk wholeheartedly. Outside of verbalizing what you want, another great tip is to write it down. Journaling can be one of the most powerful daily exercises you do each and every day, because when you go and explore those words onto a pad or a piece of paper, it allows you to explore what's holding you back. And it allows you to take time to reflect on those fears, those doubts, those limiting beliefs. Okay, those limiting beliefs, those things that we worry about, are just things that are distracting you from taking action. And by identifying and acknowledging those barriers, you begin to challenge and overcome them. Use your journal as a safe place to explore those thoughts and emotions you have. You have to have a safe place. And the pen and the pad and being able to write those things down will always be something that will turn into almost a legitimate roadmap for you to make those decisions that seem like a big daunting risk, but as you write and work through them, it becomes less and less. Remember, self-awareness is the first step towards transformation. I'm a big believer that if you're not in your own self-alignment, that it's very challenging to not only take a step, but to also have people take steps with you. That alignment is key, and the journal is a significant piece of that. Visualization is something that I have practiced many times with clients, and being able to have them see something that they want to see happen and play that narrative in their mind by closing their eyes and walking through the scenario before it actually takes place. And that technique in itself will help you manifest your desires. As you're imagining and going into great detail of those achievements, the sights, the sounds, the feelings associated with that desired outcome, be ready to continue to practice in that exercise. As you condition your mind to align with your goals, you're increasing your confidence and motivation to take action. Notice how we keep going back to the action piece. Everything that we're doing as far as these tools and traits to help mitigate risk is leading to action. It's leading into taking a first step. There's no wrong answer as you're going through these. And as you visualize it, it might still lead to something that is a risk that you take that you might come up short. But as you continue to revisualize and continue to make those mental reps, all of a sudden, those are the types of things that can become a reality because you've played that narrative before it happened. And speaking of playing of narratives, this is often a exercise that I see in my professional career with sales, is this concept of role playing. A lot of times I'm having to make phone calls or send emails and create cold introductions, as they say, and the ability to work on, that craft of communication, of being able to put in the reps of role playing and, understanding that as you role play as the person who's already achieved what you want, you're actually kind of creating and tapping into what you've done with your journaling, what you've done with your visualization. And this exercise allows you to take steps in the shoes of your future self. You're embodying the traits and characteristics of the person you aspire to become, not the person who you have been. And by mentally living out your success, you create a powerful internal reference. That is the alignment piece. And that can point you and motivate you and guide you in your actions that will lead you in the present. As you're working through those role-playing opportunities, another great tip or trait for risk mitigation is engaging in confidence-building exercise. Sometimes our confidence can get shot. I understand that the world can be a crazy, hectic place and it can just beat you down. But if you're still standing and your eyes are open and have a heartbeat, your confidence building exercises is another effective way to boost these risk-taking abilities. Seek out opportunities that challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone. It could be participating in a public speaking engagement. It could be joining a fitness club. It could be going to your, local art studio and taking a painting class or taking on more leadership roles. These experiences help you develop new skills, allows you to build resilience and strengthen your belief in your own abilities. We can be the creators and the dictators of our confidence. And as we're affirming that to ourselves, it really galvanizes us and gives us the coal to our train to ignite opportunity and to propel us into the direction to change and impact the world. And, when you're making risk-taking more tangible, you're considering making it a time-limited bucket list. This is something that's really interesting because sometimes I think of bucket list as something you do when you know that you don't have many years to live. And what a lot of people, and including myself, don't recognize is that every day is a blessing. we don't know how many days we have on this earth. And if we can start thinking about a lot of those go-to items that allow us to do things that we never thought we could do on this bucket list, it really encourages and it excites us to do things that we never thought we could do. So sit down and create a list of specific risks you want to take within a defined period. And whether it's a month, a year, or even a decade, setting a timeline adds a sense of urgency and focus to whatever endeavor you're trying to take, making it more likely that you'll follow through and embrace the opportunities that come your way. This is key. Again, as you're thinking about things that you want to do that would be just a glorious feat or a tremendous risk, you're starting to play that narrative out. That pen to pad creates visualization. It creates confidence. It creates opportunities to role play that situation. You see how all of these are tying together? And as we get into our last one, this one by far, I think, is one of the most important. And that's being able to tap into meditation, being able to have that moment of almost very similar to visualization, where you're closing your eyes, you're taking a few deep breaths, and you're in this powerful practice of calming your mind. You're cultivating your awareness. You're enhancing your focus. Each and every day you have on this earth, you have an opportunity to do something extraordinary. And I hear it so often from previous clients, from people I come across in my professional career, that they feel like things are too daunting, that things are always going to stack against them. And where I challenge you as the listener is it takes the same amount of energy, in my opinion, to focus on all of the bad or all of the things that could not happen in your life, to reflect and channel it to what are the things that are great and extraordinary that could happen in your life. It's a flip of a switch of focus that is important for you to do things that you never thought you could do. So I'm going to ask you right now, what is the risk that you're looking at taking? What is the risk or the daunting task that you're staring at right now that gives you a little bit of hesitation to take action? I want to hear about some of these things. The Built to Be project is a community of which we work through some of these difficult circumstances together. I remember one of the biggest risks I took in my life was deciding, to go lose 100 pounds to play Division I college tennis. And I remember very vividly tapping in to a lot of the traits that I shared with you today. And I was scared. But the thing that allowed that fear and that scary feeling to leave the situation that was my goal was taking action in a positive spirit and a positive light each and every day. Just chipping away at it one day at a time. And when one day turns into 2, and 2 turns into 20, and 20 turns into 18 months, I saw an incredible change in my body. I saw my goals and my dreams actually becoming a reality. These are just little examples. And I dare you as the listener to take that first step. Use these tools I shared about mitigating risk and start putting them into play in your life today. We're going to keep coming with motivational topics and opportunities through these BTB shorts to impact your week, to impact your day, to impact your life. Impossible is nothing. Let's get after it together. And I appreciate you checking it out. Take care.